Hello, world. Welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. Hello, world, and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the Joy virtual studio right here in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of New York State. It is so great to be with all of you today. It is Wednesday, the epicenter of yet another very busy broadcast week. It is February 25th, the day after the State of the Union address. Why does anyone watch this? It is fake WWE wrestling. You guys see the headline of today's show, Trump's State of the Union, Kayfabe. Why the hell would anyone watch this fake garbage? We're going to be getting into that and all of the elements of the State of the Union address. Of course, I didn't watch it because it's garbage, but I can take a peek at the transcript and I can get commentary, and we have a lot to say about all of the lies, the madness, the insanity, the lunacy that ensued last night on Capitol Hill. Not just Donald Trump, but the Democrats as well. Of course, there is always bipartisan agreement. The only standing ovation of the night that was bipartisan in nature was when Donald Trump banged the war drums for nuclear war in Iran. That brought the Democrats and Republicans to their feet in rousing applause. It is insane. We have a lot to discuss on that note today. And we do have Brett Miller coming in. Really thrilled to welcome Brett in to the Joy Virtual Studio in just about an hour. We're going to be discussing preparation with him, among other items. And of course, we're live today. We're live on Rumble, live on the Twit. We are on YouTube, Substack, Facebook, Spreely TV, which is Roku TV and Apple TV. Of course, you can listen to the SJ show at your leisure on any of your favorite podcast platforms. Make sure that you give us a 5-star review and also leave a comment. That really helps to grow the podcast audience, which, by the way, has been growing exponentially over the past 6 months among many of my other platforms. The SJ Network, every single month, delivering well over 10 million impressions and hundreds of thousands of live views across all of our platforms. And we do this independently, not left, not right, just the truth, straight up, no chaser every day. And the news cycle gets crazier and crazier as each day passes. Of course, so thankful for Inez Annie Cyrus, who is producing the SJ show today. She's keeping an eye on the Substack live feed, the Facebook live feed, and everything that is going down on the Twit. So if you have a question or a comment, make sure you pop them into those live feeds. I love hearing from all of you. And of course, the feistiest of all the live chats, we have the Rumble chatters. Future Ez gets the medal for the first comment of the day, watching Shannon's show from yesterday. That was certainly feisty, Future Ez. Great to see you on the live chat. D Nice 1113 is with us. I didn't watch the State of the Union address, and I haven't in a long time. You're a very smart person, D Nice, because it's all fake. But anyway, or actually ever, but I imagine we are getting close to President Camacho's speech in Idiocracy, and I absolutely agree. CJP Rumble is with us today. On the live chat, we have Mark the Regan. Great to see you, Mark. Be My Valentine is with us. Mama C 1996. I watched the State of the Union address last night on a gold and silver stackers live stream. It was refreshing to view through financial eyes, not political. And we're going to talk about all the financials today, leading up to a very important show tomorrow with the Peter Schiff. He will be joining us live in the Joy virtual studio tomorrow to talk about the gold and silver rebound, all of the new numbers coming in, the instability regarding Donald Trump's tariff policies slapped down by the Supreme Court last week. Now he's trying other unconstitutional ways to enforce his insane tariff policies, which, by the way, are taxes. They are passed on to the consumer. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, even though within conservative media, everyone is pretty much gone and lost their damn minds, trying to twist themselves into pretzels, pretending that tariffs are not born or do not burden anyone other than the consumer. Cato Institute, I have linked you to an overview in the SJ notes. So if you scroll down in the description, you will find a piece from Cato looking at the original unconstitutional, illegal, and immoral Trump tariff policies that were struck down by the Supreme Court. And also, by the way, his new unconstitutional, illegal actions trying to ram through these tariffs. It is making all the markets incredibly, incredibly uneasy. And this is why we're seeing gold and silver rallying yet again. Gold over 5,000 and silver heading up towards 100, cracking 90. This is not going to end because, as Peter Schiff will tell you, the world has moved on from the idiocracy that is the United States of America. They are off the gold, or they are off the dollar reserve currency for all intents and purposes. Even if it isn't official, they're on to gold. It's a tier one asset, and they're stacking everywhere across the globe. This is why it is so incredibly important that you guys make sure that you have a metals strategy in place, whether it is physical gold and silver IRAs, T-Gold, you name it, everything at your fingertips at schiffgold.com/joy. That is schiffgold.com/joy. Of course, I'm so proud that Peter Schiff and Schiff Gold are sponsors of the Shannon Joy Show. And I was even more convinced about how valuable their partnership is and how much I appreciate everything that Peter Schiff does when I read a piece commemorating his father entitled Death of a Patriot that he put out a couple days on the anniversary of his father's death. It brought tears to my eyes. I understand now where Peter Schiff comes from, why he believes in the principles that he believes in, why he has been so right about so many things for the past 2 decades, and where his passion comes from. It's his dad. And I'm going to read this to you guys a little bit later. It is so important to understand. And it just reaffirms my confidence in Peter Schiff and his company. By the way, they've been amazing partners of the Shannon Joy Show as sponsors, as advertisers. And I purchase all my gold and silver through Schiff Radio or through Schiff Gold. I also just purchased a bunch of silver from them for my gold and silver IRA through Schiff. They are amazing, amazing. I cannot recommend them more. Do not wait. We are looking at multiple years as people begin to realize and figure out that the world is going to be reset on a gold standard. And that's where things are going. I think that's what we're going to see in the foreseeable future. The next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, it is not too late to learn about how to protect your assets, protect your retirement, protect your family with physical gold and silver. So we're going to be talking to Peter tomorrow. But yes, headline for today's show, we've got a lot to get to, and I'm going to get to your comments. It's Kayfabe, right? WWE Wrestling State of the Union address. Why would anyone watch this fake garbage is my big question. And the answer is they wouldn't unless you enjoy being gaslit about the economy, mocked and demeaned by the lunatics who run things in Washington, D.C. The good news is that lots and lots of people are quickly waking up to the fact that the two parties are in cahoots. And most of the news is political theater designed to move the country towards a predetermined totalitarian outcome, the technocracy, the Great Reset. You own nothing and you're happy. This is what Trump is ushering in, and it is a tragedy that so many in MAGA cannot see this. But the truth is, MAGA people are waking up. Look at this. I found this guy yesterday. There's an organization now, a support group, I kid you not, entitled Leaving MAGA. The website is leavingmaga.org. It's run by one Rich Logus. His handle on Twitter is at Perfect Our Union, and this is a full-scale website. They can collect contributions. They have testimonials. Rich has featured his own testimonial on the website and on his Twitter account. Here's just a snippet. I began supporting Donald Trump in 2015. I was a political independent, fully estranged from our two-party system. When I realized that both major parties considered Trump a threat, that was a big psyop, wasn't it? I called it in 2015, but a lot of people fell for it. I do think that Donald Trump and MAGA was one of the most sophisticated psyops ever deployed on the American people. And he became a lightning rod for both political parties. But Rich acknowledges this. He said, he was convinced that both of the political parties considered Trump to be a threat, and he was all in. He writes, he seemed to be exactly whom I'd been waiting for, a needed disruptor, someone who was not only willing to obliterate the established political order, but seemed able to do so. I became a MAGA pundit. I wrote numerous op-eds. I had my own podcast. Though I supported Trump and MAGA for what I thought were the right reasons, I was wrong. And I will work as long as necessary to make amends. I want to meet this guy. We're going to bring him in on the Shannon Joy Show if he'll come. He goes on to list all of his reasons, his pivot points, what convinced him that Trump was an absolute fraud, a liar, a crook, a thief, and a psychopath. And so I want to give Rich Logus a lot of credit. There are so many testimonials on this website, and I kid you not, a support group. It's like leaving a cult. And as you all know, I believe that both the political parties are cults. In fact, they're in the same cult. I think the same cult runs them both and plays us against each other. And that is why exiting the two-party political system and emancipating from the Democrat and Republican cults is so important. It's the only way we can get our heads on straight and see clearly to the truth. And I want to applaud Rich Logus. Very difficult for people to acknowledge mistakes. I admit, listen, I was in the cult prior to launching my show 12 years ago, the Shannon Joy Show. I was a fully established, card-carrying Republican, conservative, grew up on Rush Limbaugh, never voted for a Democrat. And it wasn't until 2 years in to my daily show where I had to watch and observe multiple cycles right around the time that Donald Trump came down the golden escalator. It was then that I realized that they were both frauds working together. New boss, same as the old boss. It is always growth of government. It is always more totalitarian policies, the expansion of the police state, the surveillance state, more taxes, more debt, more deficit, crushing the American dream and our Constitution. Both parties do it. They just have different marketing plans and different ways to convince you that it's necessary, that they absolutely crush your freedoms. And it's always because the other party is worse and it's a lesser of two evils, yada, yada, yada. We've heard all the excuses. And so we're going to keep an eye on leavingmaga.org. They should probably have a counter organization that helps people to leave the Democrat Party as well, because obviously they are also operating the call. I thought that was super cool. And I will reach out to Rich Logus. He's probably great on air if he had a podcast. Cannot wait to meet him. Let's get back to the live chat. We have a lot of comments here. Tunnel Lord 1337 is with us on the live chat. How do we know that that website isn't a psyop in and of itself as well? What if they're trying to get freedom fighters to reject their principles entirely rather than just rejecting Trump? Well, Tunnel Lord, let's get Rich on the show and we'll ask him all about that. Vita Galore, great to see you on the live chat. I think you can leave all parties without a support group. I did it 2 decades ago. Max Glickman, I love seeing you on the Rumble live chat. I was in a blue cult for 30 years, LOL. And Papa Garcia 89, I'm just here to say, appreciate that. Poppy Garcia 89, he thinks I'm pretty. Thank you, Poppy, appreciate that. Hey, I will take the compliments. I'm pushing 50 here. I'm going to take all I can get. Appreciate you, Poppy. Russ Cahill is with us on Facebook. And Russ thinks that Trump is literally saving Western civilization. Russ Cahill, did you get your $499 Donald Trump fight wash? Oh, he's okay. Oh, he's okay. So Russ is referring to Rick. Okay. All right. That's awesome. Speaking of the watch, Annie, we have to pull this up. I mean, I kid you not, Donald Trump, this guy is such a crook. He is such a crook. And I love my MAGA supporters, my Republicans who are kind of still on the Trump bandwagon. I totally disagree with them. I think they're in a cult, but I want to save them. And it's like trying to convince them of the crookery of Donald Trump it's been a 10-year initiative for me. Donald Trump is now pimping a fight watch for $400 on Fox News, $499 to be exact. We featured it. We mentioned it yesterday on the SJ show, but you've got to see this ad. Why people believe this guy, trust this guy, and acknowledge anything he says is beyond me. But Annie, let's pull up the fight ad. Shame on Fox News, by the way, for running these. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. The pump and dumps, the insider trading, the absolute grift that has come to define the Trump presidency. He will go down in history as the biggest crook to ever occupy the Oval Office. And that's going to go down in history. I will be proven right on this. Mark my words and bookmark it. But Annie, let's take a look at that ad running on Fox News because, you know, it's all about the dollars, y'all, for Donald Trump and his family. And he's shameless. Let's look at the ad.
Hello, everyone. It's President Donald J. Trump, and it's Trump time. Check out this red beauty. It's one of my new watches. Wear it proudly on your wrist, and everyone will know exactly what it's for, who it represents. It's really going to be something special. It's for your favorite president. Get your watch today at gettrumpwatches.com. Please make a great gift. It's Trump time.
It is Trump time. Who buys the $499 Trump watch? Fight. Even crazier. It is now being reported. This is crazy. It is now being reported. There's evidence now, and it confirms that the $499 fight watch, it is a gold-plated stainless steel Japanese Seiko TMI NH3536 movement watch. They are licensed to Trump merch from the firm The Best Watches on Earth LLC. This has been reported in GQ, The Holiday Reporter, and also Wired. And it has now come to light that the Chinese manufacturing sourcing for the affordable models, okay, so he's buying the watch from the Chinese, who we're supposed to go to war with, by the way. Remember, it's the AI arms race. And so we have to beat them by suppressing and destroying all privacy and all freedom in the United States of America to win the AI race against China, while we're buying watches from them and selling them for $499 on Fox News. That was a Fox News commercial, by the way. It has now come to light that experts are now showing near identical unbranded versions of this watch from AliExpress for about $50 to $60 total. And it's standard high margin branding. And so he's basically selling, you know, a $50 watch for $499 on Fox News, which I think encapsulates the Donald Trump MAGA brand as a whole, right? A whole lot of nothing, a complete fraud, gilded, gold-plated, not real, based on lies. And so when he stands up at the State of the Union address and lies to your face, gaslighting you about the economy, I want you to remember Donald Trump pimping you a $50 watch for $499 on Fox News. This is not 12-dimensional chess. This is not trust the plan. This is a crook, a cheat, a liar. And the fact that people are still falling for this 10 years after he came down the golden escalator is astonishing to me. We're going to get into the economy and what it means for all of you tomorrow in detail, full hour interview with none other than Peter Schiff. So mark your calendars. It's going to be a very important show. And we are going to help Americans understand where this economy is going, when the financial collapse is going to happen, and how you can protect yourself. It's not just gold and silver and metals. There are a lot of other elements that you need to know about. We're going to tackle that head on tomorrow on the SJ Show live with Peter Schiff. I'm also excited about, we have Brett Miller coming on in just a moment. He is a preparedness expert, a representative for the satellite phone store and the CEO of Galileo. And he is a regular on the Shannon Joy Show. We're going to be talking about what went down in Mexico, and also Donald Trump now warp speeding 6G. If you thought 4G and 5G were bad, well, buckle up. Trump is now warp speeding the development and the rollout of 6G. You need to understand how RF frequencies, how EMF frequencies are impacting your body and your health, how you can protect yourself from EMF. It's only going to grow exponentially if Donald Trump gets his way with the 6G. And we need to protect ourselves from the government surveillance. Faraday technologies can help you do that. And also from the EMF. We're going to be talking about that with Brett Miller, and preparedness regarding what went down in Mexico. This is what I love. Lots of people are waking up to the fraud that is the two-party political system, the fakery. And there is no better example today of this in the story of the ballers at Anarchapulco in Mexico. These guys, I mean, Aaron Day and Jeff Berwick, who is the dollar vigilante, and the organizers of Anarchapulco, they're basically, these guys are libertarians, they're Ron Paul fans, they're free market advocates, crypto people, anarchists. They all gather, a lot of them live in Mexico, and they all gather every year for Anarchapulco, which I guess is in Acapulco, and they talk about freedom and freedom currencies and new currencies and crypto and Bitcoin, all the things. And they're all down there for this conference. The cartel gangster war breaks out that you guys all saw, terrifying all the tourists. And these guys called the gangster war bluff and carried on with their convention amidst all of the contrived chaos. And it was absolutely brilliant to watch. This is what Jeff Berwick had to say. He's dollar vigilante, and he was supposed to come on this week. I'm hoping to get him on maybe Friday. If I can't, we'll get him on early Monday. But I've talked to Aaron Day about this. This is what he had to say. Gotta love the Anarchapulco crowd. A major false flag psyop conducted, and TCB continued on and finished their event during it. Max Egan, Dan Dix, Patrick Henningsen, Josh Sigurdson, and others were out in the street covering it live. They restored energetic order in PV, and now just a day later, everyone is at Max's bar like nothing ever happened. It's great. It's awesome. And that is the sentiment I'm getting from so many in Mexico, that yeah, something happened, but as we're beginning to understand, these are coordinated. They are psychological operations or actual military operations, and they are designed to move us into a predetermined totalitarian outcome. They will use the chaos and the fear in order to justify some terrible, terrible thing. They did it post 9/11. They did it post COVID. They did it post the housing collapse. I mean, they use this. This is now the Hegelian dialectic: problem, reaction, solution, over and over, infinitum, and then we're all in shackles. That's what we need to begin to understand. Both parties use it, and they play us against each other. And so this kind of confidence, what I love about what went down among the freedom-minded, libertarian leaning small government people who have in large part migrated, a lot of them live permanently in Mexico and they love it, is that this confidence, the clear-headedness, because they are so far outside of the two-party political paradigm, they're able to think clearly. And when you think clearly, you have confidence. And when you are prepared, these guys are also very well prepared, very independent, very self-sustaining, not just in terms of money and resources, but in terms of energy and spirituality and in every way, shape, or form, they are prepared. When you are prepared, you are not scared. And that helps you to make the right decisions. And today we're going to talk to Brett Miller about that in just about 25 minutes so that when our own government deploys the next psyop, whether it's nuclear war with Iran or an AI arms race with China or full-on kinetic war with China, whatever it is that they deploy against we, the people of the United States of America, we will be prepared for. We won't be scared, we will not be divided, and we will call their bluff. Mr. Sauerkraut, I see you on the live chat. Lots of brand new live chatters on the Rumble live chat. Great to see you, Mr. Sauerkraut. Dan Dix of Press for Truth was on site, on the ground, and gave a few very interesting comments. Mr. Sauerkraut, I was wondering about Anarchapulco, interested to hear Jeff's experiences. Maybe I'll go to Anarchapulco next year. I mean, listen, wouldn't you love to go to a conference in Acapulco in sunny New Mexico? So I think that's a great idea. Maybe I will join them. Vita Galore says the streets in Vallarta were staged. Some nobody dude was standing in front of the burned and bullet riddled cars just talking. Okay, then. Yeah, that was the sentiment that I heard. It's pretty amazing. Strident conservative David Leach is with us on the live chat. He said the person who said that a sucker is born every minute could have been talking about MAGA. Let's not isolate the suckers just to, Donald Trump and MAGA. There were plenty of Obama suckers. There were plenty of Democrat suckers. They're all out there. And the key is that they're all afraid of each other. The D's are afraid of the R's are terrified of the D's. They think that they need a bully to save them from the big bad D's or the big bad R's. And that's why we can't have nice things in the United States of America. So we got to get out of it. That's just the way it is. Let's see who else we have here on Substack. I love the Substack live chat. Freedom is everything. I bought the psyop too. I had a physical shock when I realized what was happening. I cannot look back and see so much. It is hard to continue in the system. Absolutely. Great comment from Freedom is Everything. And thank you to Russ Cahill, who is watching on Facebook. You guys are awesome. Keep those comments coming and keep the questions coming as well. When we come back, we're going to take a hard look. We are going to fact check Donald Trump's best economy ever State of the Union address. It's absolutely crazy. He's a complete liar. And he just gaslit an entire nation. There is no way that the economy is in any way, shape, or form the way that he portrayed it yesterday in his speech. We're not going to use his clips because, well, I just find them to be annoying. But all you need to know is that it's a complete lie. The economy is in the toilet. There's no other way to look at it. And it is rapidly, rapidly disintegrating. The tariff instability, the warmongering regarding Iran, and the expending of military resources into places like Venezuela and Mexico is just making everything unstable. I mean, chaos is the name of the day. Uncertainty is a certainty in the United States of America. It's going to be that way for the next couple years. So rather than lament it and, curl into the fetal position, suck our thumbs and be frightened, we should just face it and begin to prepare ourselves, our families, and our communities to survive this and thrive and maintain liberty. Those are the goals here on the SJ Show. Every day we keep that in mind. And the mission is to empower so many of you to know and understand the truth as best as we can see it, and then also prepare so that you guys can do well even amidst the chaos. So we are going to do that when we come back. And in just about 25 minutes, we are going to welcome into the Joy virtual studio, Brett Miller, to talk about what went down in Anarchapulco and also Trump's insane agenda to fast track and warp speed 6G. I kid you not. We'll be back in a moment on the Shannon Joy Show. Hey everyone, I am so proud to recommend Shift Gold to this audience as the gold standard for metals purchasing and investing. I couldn't ask for a better partner to help people understand gold and silver and use them as strategic instruments to protect their family's financial future. Peter Schiff's teaching on markets has shaped my understanding of how economies grow and why they collapse. And I've used them as a critical source for my daily broadcast for over 10 years. The Shannon Joy Show audience already knows and loves Peter because he has been such a treasured educator over the years. He is now the preeminent source for rock-solid financial analysis around the world. And this is because he understands the immutable laws of natural markets and his stalwart unwillingness to veer from absolute truths regardless of economic fads and political pressures. Bottom line, he doesn't sell out. And that means a lot to me. I trust Shift Gold, and you can too. Go to shiftgold.com/joy today to get started. You'll find some of the lowest spot prices for gold and silver and critical information on protecting your retirement savings with a gold or silver IRA. That's www.shiftgold.com/joy. Hedge against the chaos with our friends over at Shift Gold. I want to invite you. I would love to meet you. I know that we have the website up for the Summit for Truth and Wellness. We are meeting live here in Rochester, New York on March 21st for a full day. It is the 2026 4th Annual Summit for Truth and Wellness. I will be there live along with Dr. William Makis, a leader in cancer care using ivermectin, fembendazole, membendazole. He has treated over 8,000 patients. He just got his medical license in the state of Florida. He is revolutionizing how cancers are treated. He is curing cancers. We're going to be talking about cancer care, cancer prevention with Dr. William Makis, and we're going to be joined by Dr. Mary Talley Bowden. She's going to be coming up from the great state of Texas to be with us live in Rochester, New York, and also, of course, the amazing Sasha Latapova, among other distinguished guests. We are about halfway to sell out on this summit. So we have about 5 weeks before the summit. I want to encourage all of you, if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, go ahead and get those tickets because I do anticipate a full sellout. We have limited seating. It's going to be a beautiful morning of presentations, and then we are going to break and have a lovely luncheon afterwards. Plenty of time to meet and greet, to meet the speakers, fellowship, collaborate. It's just going to be an absolutely beautiful event. I love hosting it. And of course, all the proceeds, everything that we earn over the expenses to put the summit together will go to Americans for Healthcare Alternatives, an amazing organization that I have been working with for many years. Their mission is to provide an alternative to the medical industrial complex with information, seminars, and they are seeking to build a brick and mortar wellness center right here in Rochester, New York. We want to help them get closer to that goal. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. I cannot wait to meet you all on March 21st at the Summit for Truth and Wellness full day event with a beautiful luncheon at the end. And I'm just so thrilled to welcome Mary and Sasha Latapova and, of course, Dr. William Makis. He is saving lives, guys, And at this point, because so many millions of Americans have been injected with the COVID shots, the mRNA technology, the spike protein, the lipid nanoparticles, not only have they've been injected, but there's also now evidence of shedding, meaning non-vaccinated people are impacted by the mass vaccination campaign that happened during the Trump and Biden administrations. And so we know now we know for a fact that there is record rates of cancer, turbo cancers in the country. In fact, the CDC has stopped reporting on the rate of cancer, the number of new cancer diagnoses. I don't think they've been reporting since the Biden administration. Okay. But we all see it in our own lives. And the key here is not only curing cancers, Dr. Makis is curing late stage aggressive cancers. This is just one article. Make sure you follow him on Substack. He posts 2 or 3 times a day. His latest ivermectin, fenbendazole, and membendazole combination cures stage 4 cancer in an 84-year-old man in Saudi Arabia. Absolutely miraculous. He features the protocol, the diagnosis, and also communications from the family where, they report back to him how their loved one is doing. His Substack is, there are thousands of posts on this. He has treated over 8,000 patients. It is not just about curing these cancers, guys. It's about prevention. Prevention is going to be everything. This is important to vaccinated and unvaccinated. Whatever it is that is causing this terrible, terrible epidemic of cancers needs to be addressed. And there is no better expert in the world than Dr. William Makis. And so he will be here live with a full presentation on March 21st. And I want to see you. So make sure that you guys go to theshannonjoy.com. That is theshannonjoy.com. It is the only place you can get your tickets. We have people coming from Florida, Canada, Ohio, and surrounding states. It's going to be an amazing event. This is our 4th annual, and I'm super pumped about it. Proctor Surf is with us on the live chat on Rumble. Makis rules. He absolutely does. It's just terrible. Absolutely terrible. Mark the Regan, do not obey. I see you on the live chat. And David Leach, more great news from the Trump administration. He is preparing an executive order requiring banks to verify the citizenship of their customers. That means they have to verify every customer, including you and me. This is insane. This is not about deporting illegal immigrants. This is not about immigration in general. This is about controlling, surveilling, and cataloging every American in the United States of America. They want all of your information. Privacy is dead. They are obliterating the Fourth Amendment. It's outrageous. And David Leach, I should have you on the SJ show leading up to the Summit for Truth and Wellness, because David is coming as well. And I cannot wait to meet you, David. We've been working together for a decade, and we've had Zooms. You've been on my show. We've collaborated, but I've never met you in person. And I am so excited to meet you, David. He's traveling all the way, I believe, from Colorado. So I cannot wait. Make sure you support the Strident Conservative. By the way, go to his website, stridentconservative.com. That is stridentconservative.com. David is one of the best. And he has always, he never fell for the Trump psyop. A lot of wisdom coming from David Leach. We have a comment from Substack. Hello, Steve Hastings. Great to see you. If the Trump administration secretly collected everyone's biometric identification, biometric IDs, the January 6th at the Washington, D.C. protest, the Trump watch could probably have a secret hidden biometric identification ID chip inside so they can track and trace you. Nothing would surprise me, Steve. If they put a little tracking device in the Trump watch. They deployed feds into the J6 audience to lure the poor crowd into the Capitol building, which resulting in thousands of arrests and grandmothers being harassed and hassled by federal agents throughout the Biden administration. the hundreds of innocent American civilians that were detained illegally with their due process constitutional rights absolutely obliterated in the DC gulag. I mean, it's insane. They were all lured to the Capitol by Roger Stone, Steve Bannon, and Donald Trump. All right. In a fake stop the steal psychological operation that, I mean, it's just outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Pedro Gonzalez writes, is it Pedro that did some really great reporting on that? And there was another guy that did some really great reporting on the fact that that was planned. They lured their own people into Washington, D.C. and served them up to the Biden administration on a silver platter. And then Trump ignored them for a full year and a half. He didn't lift a finger to help a single J6 prisoner until he launched his campaign. And it was only then, because he knew it would be politically beneficial to him, that he began to talk about them. Disgusting. Disgusting. If Trump had issued a single tweet, remember, this was when he wasn't in office, when he erased himself. He disappeared from the political scene for a year and a half. You remember that? If Trump had lifted his pinky to help a single J6 prisoner in those 18 to 22 months, he could have done a lot of good. One tweet, nothing. Didn't give them a penny, by the way. So disgusting. RJ Pazzi, I see you on Facebook. Anarchapulco mention by Shannon Joy. Glad to see she's shedding her status programming. Little by little, it's been a long road here. Okay, I guess maybe. When on earth can you point to me being a statist, RJ Pazzi? But I appreciate your comment. It's crazy. Mr. Sauerkraut, I see you on the live chat. Dr. Makis dared to defy the Canadian medical system. His experience is a lesson on what the Canadian system can do. Very evil, very wicked. 100%. So let's get to, I know I meant, headlines say we're going to look at all of the lies that were told by Donald Trump in the State of the Union address, complete gaslighting of the American people. And it was outrageous. It's why I didn't watch it. It's why I don't watch WWE wrestling and Kayfabe. The fake fights that Democrats and Republicans engage on Capitol Hill and in the little boxes on left-wing and right-wing media. They want you to think they oppose each other, but they're all on the same team and they're all getting rich. They are all ridiculously corrupt. And they are two sides of the same coin. So this is no different. Trump is just one of the craziest that we've ever witnessed. In the span of 6 years, think about this. We have gone from a corpse of a president with Joe Biden to a president who happens to be a genocidal maniac and is threatening nuclear war with Iran, like access to the nuclear football. So a corpse or a maniac or a corpse, doesn't matter. We still get screwed, the American people. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. And yes, I coined the weekend at Bernie's presidency. That was me. You heard that on the Shannon Joy show many, many years ago, because it was obvious that Joe Biden was not in control, that he had some form of late stage dementia and he wasn't running things. The same thing is happening here with Donald Trump. He just has a different shtick. All right. He's the heel. He's the crazy person. He's playing a role, right? Very similar to the role, by the way, that he played when he was a WWF Hall of Famer. Remember that? Donald Trump. Anyway, in the latest theater, which is the State of the Union address, and we have Brett Miller warming up in the bullpen. He'll be coming in just a few minutes here on the SJ show. I'm just running a little bit late, Brett, but I'll get to you. So you just hang tight. Donald Trump in the State of the Union address basically gaslit the entire country with the fake ass economic turnaround that he is touting here. He touted it as the turnaround of the ages, claiming that he had inherited a stagnant economy with inflation at record levels. Now, remember, the economy was stagnant and we had horrifying inflation because Trump shut down the economy, locked every American down in 2020, in the last year of his presidency, put tens of thousands of small to medium-sized businesses out of business permanently, and injected trillions of dollars into the economy, which was basically handed to his crony billionaire associates. That's what happened. That's what Trump set into place. Now, during Biden's administration, of course, we had horrifying inflation. Of course, we had an economic downturn, but it was started by the president. So at the very beginning, he's lying about where it all came from. And, listen, we can go back in time. Trump's profligate spending during his first presidency. We can go back to Obama's profligate spending during his presidency. Then we can go back to Bush and Clinton. I mean, again, it's the new boss, same as the old boss. They work for the same people. They're on the same team. Anyway, he says now that it's roaring like never before in the best economy in the world, with fast rising incomes, lie, plummeting inflation, lie, and historic gains, another lie. We know that the stock market is inflated. They basically printed money and dumped it into the stock market. This is why more and more analysts now are predicting an incoming collapse, and it is going to be AI. It is going to be these AI tech companies. It is not AI disruption that is going to crash this economy. It is the AI bubble. Anyway, everything he said in his statement is completely false, and it's actually refuted by his own government and his own agencies. Here are recent official statistics, and these are generated from the Bureau of Economic Analysis, the BEA, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics as of February 2026. So these are Trump's own numbers. For all of you MAGA people out there and the Trump humpers, this isn't CNN or MSNBC or some libtard bringing the numbers to you. This is from Trump's own government. And this is what's really going on in terms of GDP, labor, and inflation. A full year 2025 recap of GDP growth is at 2.2%. This was slower than 2024's 2.8%. That was Biden's final year. And in the last quarter of 2025, Q4, it was markedly lower. The annualized growth slowed sharply to 1.4%. Unemployment in the labor market as of January 2026, it's 4.3%. And this is up slightly from 4 around late 2024. Total non-farm payroll job growth for all of 2025 was revised downward, and it was a stunning revision. And these are the games that they play. They push out fake numbers about jobs, labor, inflation, and GDP growth, and they milk the headlines, and they ride those headlines so they can push out fake news and fake press reports and fake statements. And then on the DL, when they revise them sharply, and you get the real picture. This is horrifying. They were revised downward to just 181,000 jobs. It's the weakest full year gain in any non-recession year since 2003. This is far below Biden's final full year. So if you didn't like Biden's economy, you probably shouldn't like Trump's. But if you're MAGA and you have your head up his rear end because you think he's going to save you, you're not going to be able to see that. This is why people need to exit the cults so they can see clearly. In inflation, these are Trump's own numbers. Again, this is coming from Trump's government, not some liberal leaning press corps or some liberal think tank. It's from Trump. In inflation, the CPI, all items, 12-month changing ending January 26, up 2.4% in the 12 months ending on January 25 when Trump took office. So, and you guys know, even those numbers are so baked. They're so big. They're so fake. You guys know what you're experiencing when you go to the grocery store. You know what you're experiencing in rent. You know what you're experiencing in travel. You know what is happening in the market. This is the ultimate gaslighting. And they manipulate these numbers. I mean, inflation numbers are some of the most manipulated. What do you care if eggs are at all-time lows, if every other item in your grocery basket is in double-digit inflation, right? They will look to one thing. Donald Trump talked about eggs and gas. What about energy? What about all the other food items? What about travel? What about housing? No one can buy a house. Housing prices are so inflated that we are literally crushing the dream of American home ownership for an entire generation. Multiple generations of children will never, ever be able to buy a home because of Donald Trump and what he's doing. In his State of the Union address, you know what he said? We want more. We want to inflate those prices even higher so that boomers feel good about their asset, so they can hold on and they can enjoy their inflated real estate prices. Well, what are the boomers going to do when they're on a fixed income and the price inflates so high that you can't afford your taxes? What are you going to do then? Then you can't sell your house because there are no buyers. In fact, no human buyers, right? Because no person can buy a house in the US anymore. Then you have to sell your home to some private equity firm, some billionaire acquisition firm. That's what they're moving us to. This is how Trump paves the way for the crony, corporate, millionaire, and billionaire class. Mr. Sauerkraut. But old people feel rich. Yes, they do. So dumb. So dumb. So everything that Donald Trump said about the economy. I was just talking to Annie, too, in the break. The amazing Inez Annie Cyrus, who produces the Shannon and Joy show. And, you know, she was telling me about her experience. I mean, this is horrifying. I have it right here. No, I think I actually might have gotten rid of it. I want to say a $900. I mean, yeah, maybe you can put a little bit of gas in your car for a few cents less than you did last year. Her energy prices were up over $900. Her electric bill up over $900. She's not buying ground beef anymore, down 3 pounds a week to 1 pound a week because the price of beef is skyrocketing. You know, notice that Donald Trump didn't talk about chicken, beef, or any of the other food groups in his State of the Union address because he's a liar. He's a liar. He's a crook. And I say that not to shame people who are still in MAGA, but to hopefully empower them to step away, because this guy is tanking our economy. We're going to be talking more about that more with Peter Schiff tomorrow on the SJ show. Very important conversation. There is a lot that you guys can do to prepare for what is coming and to thrive, to actually thrive in market chaos. And that's what we're going to learn from Peter Schiff tomorrow on the SJ show. So make sure that you bookmark this show tomorrow. We're going to be live as we are every day, Monday through Thursday, from noon to 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. If you're watching on any of our platforms, if you are on YouTube, Substack, Facebook, Twitter, please give the Shannon Joy Show a comment. I want to hear from you. Annie is keeping an eye on the comments. By the way, liveuptofreedom.com is Annie's website, liveuptofreedom.com. If you want to contribute to her beef fund, we have to make sure that Annie gets her 3 pounds of beef every single week. I couldn't believe the numbers that she was telling me. She is an amazing content creator. She just wrote a book, and we're going to be having Annie on the SJ show in just a couple weeks to launch her book. Not only an amazing, beautiful producer of this show every day, but she is an absolutely brilliant analyst by her own right. And we're going to learn a lot more about Annie. Liveuptofreedom.com, liveuptofreedom.com. Support her efforts. So we are going to, in just a moment, we're going to bring the great Brett Miller into the Joy virtual studio to talk about preparation, right? Because they're going to throw a lot at us, and in every way imaginable, we need to be prepared. And so when we come back from break, we're going to talk to Brett. But if you are watching on any of the SJ platforms, it is so helpful for me to grow this independent show through you. And that organic growth is what we really go for. So if you want to give us a thumbs up here on Rumble, follow the SJ show. If you haven't followed the show yet, make sure you follow it today so that you're always alerted to when we go live. And we go live every day, 90 minutes of original content and political cultural analysis every day on the SJ show from outside of the two-party political paradigm. You won't get that anywhere else. You'll get it here every day on the SJ show. Substack. I love you guys on Substack. We are growing exponentially on Substack. I love that platform. It is so elegant. And if you're on Twitter, you've been seeing a lot of the Substack clips that we have been putting out. Thank you for those of you who have become paid subscribers on my Substack. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you. Every little bit helps, and you can help contribute to the growth of the SJ show by becoming a paid subscriber on Substack. So if you haven't done it yet, make sure that you do it now. Let me know, and I'll make sure to read your comment. So if you are subscribing or becoming a paid subscriber, I want to know about it, and I want to say hello and thank you to you. So make sure that you do that. And of course, we love our folks over on the Rumble live chat. We are going to go to a quick break. When we come back, without further ado, the CEO of Galileo. He is an expert on preparedness, and he is Brett Miller. We're going to bring him into the Joy virtual studio to talk about what's going down in Mexico, in Anarchapulco. They're able to call the psyop because, well, they're prepared. We're going to talk about that. Also, Trump's warp speed of 6G, what that means for EMF and your privacy. We're going to discuss that with Brett Miller as well. So keep it tuned right here on the SJ Show. We'll be back in a minute. I want to invite you. I would love to meet you. I know that we have the website up for the Summit for Truth and Wellness. We are meeting live here in Rochester, New York on March 21st for a full day. It is the 2026 fourth annual Summit for Truth and Wellness. I will be there live along with Dr. William Makis, a leader in cancer care using ivermectin, fembendazole, membendazole. He has treated over 8,000 patients. He just got his medical license in the state of Florida. He is revolutionizing how cancers are treated. He is curing cancers. We're going to be talking about cancer care, cancer prevention with Dr. William Makis, and we're going to be joined by Dr. Mary Talley Bowden. She's going to be coming up from the great state of Texas to be with us live in Rochester, New York, and also, of course, the amazing Sasha Latapova, among other distinguished guests. We are about halfway to sell out on this summit. So we have about 5 weeks before the summit. I want to encourage all of you, if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, go ahead and get those tickets because I do anticipate a full sellout. We have limited seating. It's going to be a beautiful morning of presentations, and then we are going to break and have a lovely luncheon afterwards. Plenty of time to meet and greet, to meet the speakers, fellowship, collaborate. It's just going to be an absolutely beautiful event. I love hosting it. And of course, all the proceeds, everything that we earn over the expenses to put the summit together will go to Americans for Healthcare Alternatives, an amazing organization that I've been working with for many years. Their mission is to provide an alternative to the medical industrial complex with, information, seminars, and they are seeking to build a brick and mortar wellness center right here in Rochester, New York. We want to help them get closer to that goal. At 123.com/joy. Everything that you're going to need for preparation: generators, solar panels, Faraday products. If you want to disappear and protect yourself from the surveillance state, they have an entire line of amazing Faraday products called dark bags. They're always 10% off at the satellite phone store if you go to sat123.com/joy. That is sat123.com/joy. The satellite phone store has supported the Shannon Joy Show for many years. They are amazing partners, and let's help the companies that help keep the lights on here at the Shannon Joy Show. So if you are in the market for any of their products or services, make sure you use that promo code JOY and go to sat123.com/joy. That's sat123.com/joy. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show, final segment. And I am super pumped to welcome once again one of my favorites, Brett Miller. He is the CEO of Galileo. He is an expert on preparedness and also a spokesperson for the satellite phone store. Amazing sponsors of the Shannon Joy Show. I love Tina. I love Jennifer. I get all my gear from the satellite phone store. Everything that you need to be prepared, whether it's solar panels or generators. We're going to talk about Faraday today. We're going to talk about what's going on in Anarchapulco and Trump's insane 6G initiative. Brett Miller is with us. I have a comment, Brett Miller, from, now listen, hold on a minute, because I hear, thank you, LT Oracle of Truth. Appreciate this comment. I've seen Brett on Mel K and Maria Z. He's cheating on you, Shannon. Oh my, that's all right. Yeah.
Shannon's married. I can't.
No, exactly.
Shannon's
right.
we're just friends. We're just friends. So is Maria and so is Mel K, by the way. So just
Devastatingly
FYI.
handsome Dr. Joy. He's the only man for me. But
That's right. I know that. Much respect to all my strong female leaders in the truth community. I love
that.
Yeah.
I love Maria Z.
Yeah.
I'm
amazing.
hoping to meet her. I don't know if she's going. I'm going to be traveling to Amsterdam, Brett.
I'll send you Frank's info and you can just reach out to her.
Okay.
And then Frank's
she I'm not sure if she's going, but there's a huge court case in the Danish court system. I'm traveling with Sasha Latapova on March. I think we're going to be there on March 9th in Amsterdam to cover the case. It is a civil case against Bill Gates and Albert Bourla of Pfizer, among other Dutch officials, and we are seeking to hold them liable and accountable for severe vaccine injury and death. It's going to be amazing. I saw Maria's name on the list of journalists who are going to have press passes, and so I don't know if she's going or not, but I love her.
She's amazing.
Was my sister from Australia in the dark days of COVID lockdown. She came on my show multiple times, and she's absolutely great.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome. All of I mean it when I say it. Like I'm very much impressed by the strength of female truth tellers. They're not afraid to speak out against, when we watch through COVID and we watch through some of these other nonsense things, even right now, people out there shilling for Trump with all of his BS. I mean, the guy's a pathological liar. I was sitting in the green room listening to your show. Yeah. But I'm really proud and honored to know such strong women and that are family women and that are mothers as well as leaders. I mean, it's it's admirable. And, I kind of hope that you rub off on some of these male leaders who have taken the checks and kind of gotten quiet lately. So
the men don't like me. The men don't like me.
Afraid of the truth.
They pat me on the head. They call me Paul. You really believe in justice? You really believe in truth? Okay, that's not how the sausage is made, Shannon. That's not how we do things in Washington, D.C. I'm like, you know what? Yeah. I reject that. I completely reject that.
I reject how they do everything in D.C. Yeah. I think anybody with a soul is now realizing once these documents that came out that everyone in DC is eating children. That's pretty disturbing. I think we need to take a step back and get back to our families.
Yeah, the Epstein files are absolutely going to dominate large portions of this show for the next year. So we are going to methodically go through.
Terrible.
People need to know how vicious and evil the people who run things in Washington, D.C.
And no one has been arrested. Nobody. I mean, you have to consider this, and this is what I'm thinking about, like how gross and corrupt people like Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are, that not only did they go through and view all of the horrific, detailed imagery, videos, they edited out the perpetrators' names intentionally, and now no one has been arrested, and Kash Patel's out like chugging beers like some kind of white trash, hillbilly in the middle of the largest organized child trafficking and consumption ring ever in the history of the world. And they're acting like we should just be moving on. It's so insane. These are children. This is it's so wild. my heart bleeds for these children and for our country because we're funding this.
Right.
That's the worst part about it. But
Yeah.
anyway, I know you want to talk about some other things. Let's do it.
Listen,
I'm
hey, we
getting
can
ready to
talk
go to
about that too.
Mexico on vacation, so I just wanted to
You're
get
talking.
this out in case I'm going down to
Brett's always prepared.
vacation.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love. Well, to reiterate your point, Fearless Rose in USA. So great to see you on the live chat for the first time, Fearless Rose. February 25th, 2026. I didn't hear one word in this president's State of the Union speech about protecting women and children from pedophiles and rapists in the USA who are rich men up on the hill. Fearless Rose in USA. I agree with you. And,
Yeah.
Brad, I'm really thankful. I cannot thank the team over at Satellite Phone Store enough for supporting the Shannon Joy Show. I mean, my partnership with the Satellite Phone Store, we're going on 2 years, a little over 2 years. And
Yeah.
the work that you guys do is unbelievable. The humanitarian work that you do is unbelievable, helping people prepare. I'm so thankful for you guys. And that stability of that long-term sponsor partnership is so important for someone like me. I'm dangling in the breeze. I mean, I'm independent,
Yeah.
very lean and a very small organization, but your support means everything. So I just wanted to make sure before we get started,
Thank
to
you. We appreciate you.
thank you all. Set123.com/joy, by the way, is my URL. So
Yeah.
let's get started. Let's start with Mexico. You have your machete ready.
Yeah.
Love that. Did you?
Like that.
Brett always
So,
has lots of machetes and tools and
uh,
gadgets and gear and all the things.
weapons
In
of war.
fact, Annie has to warn Brett before he comes on the show, and me. Anytime I hold up any of the Faraday
Yeah.
technology from the Satellite Phone Store, all of the signals go wonky, and
We're
she's like,
messing with
"Don't
her.
do, don't do it, don't do it."
Yep.
Because the Faraday technology really does work. We're going to talk about that in context of 6G. But what I loved about what went down in Mexico was the Anarchapulco crowd, led by people like Aaron Day and Jeff Berwick, and all the people down in that conference, called the bluff immediately. They knew that a psyop was deployed in Mexico. They knew that all of the burning, they were terrifying the tourists and all of the things. They knew that there was another agenda there. There was a larger purpose, that it was part of political theater or military theater, that they were in that
That's right.
theater. They rejected it immediately. They reported on it. They got out in the street. They called it out, called the bluff, and continued with their convention, and all met out at the bar the next night. The next day, the beaches filled up. No one was afraid, and everything was back to normal. They beat the psyop. And we need to
Yeah.
do that. We need to repeat that and replicate it every time they try to frighten us here in the US. And the key to that, Brett, the key to that is preparedness in every way, being spiritually prepared, being financially prepared, and being physically prepared. And that's your bread and butter. I mean, this is what you live for. You're an expert on that. What did you make of the Mexican situation? And what do you think were the elements of preparedness that helped them achieve, that victory in beating the psyop?
Yeah, thanks. I mean, you actually just said it, right? Like in a moment where something unexpected happens, if you're unprepared, you're fearful. If you're in the dark, you don't have a light, you're afraid of the dark. If you're in a gunfight, you don't have a gun, right? If you're doing anything, if you pop a tire and you don't have a spare tire, you start to now worry. You have to like figure things out in the moment. But if you're prepared, like you said, mentally, spiritually, physically, then you've already considered, hey, I'm going to a foreign country. I got my passport. Maybe I got a backup satellite phone. Maybe I got a backup bivy stick. Maybe I have even just an additional cell phone. Maybe I'm here with people. I'm sure there's security. There's been, there's always pre-planned routes, evacuation routes, hospitals. There's always preparedness and planning that goes into, these events in particular. But anyone just going on vacation. So, when I watch another distraction, right? Another distraction with a president who's not aligned with the country, and our president's not aligned with our country, and Mexico's president's not aligned with their country, and then we're kidnapping presidents in other countries.
Right.
It's all just like
Crazy.
I mean, yeah, it's just wild. So, I'm now, because of what I do, of course, and because of what we talk about, I tend to take these things less serious, right? And I'm kind of in like not in my backyard mentality,
Right.
in that I care about my community, I care about my state, and I definitely care about my country and my countrymen and women, and we're here to support them
Right.
by preparing them. I know. So when the media or DC or one of these nonsense things happens, if you're not there, you should chill out. If you are there, and the people that were there, like I know some of the podcasters that were there, they were prepared. They were laughing at
Absolutely.
it, going, hey, because they have the confidence, because they're already in tune to this, right? The people that go and attend these types of events have already spent years through COVID, realizing the BS, years through Trump's promises, the BS, now watching the Epstein BS, right? So they already know that the psyops are being played out, but that's because they are prepared. So that's, what we encourage everyone right now is just get prepared.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Do you have a backup comm? Do you have backup water filters? Do you have a gun? Do you have extra food? Do you have a generator? What don't you have that you need to be prepared and not be fearful?
Right. Let's talk about tourism. If you're a tourist and you are
Yeah.
traveling to Mexico, what are the items? And I know that Satellite Phone Store has everything, and it's always 10%
Yeah.
off when you guys use the promo code JOY. So anytime you shop at the Satellite Phone Store, and again, the product selection is vast. They have basically
Yeah.
everything. So anytime you use that JOY promo code, you're going to get an additional 10% off. So talk to me about if I'm a tourist and I'm heading down
Yeah.
I want to go to Anarchapulco next year. I want to go. They've
Yeah.
impressed me
Yeah.
so much. I didn't know if I want to hang out with anarchists, but they're not like real anarchists. They're basically more like freedom oriented people, and I think they like to call themselves anarchists. But anyway, I want to go.
Yeah.
Say I'm going to travel down to Anarchapulco next
Yeah.
year to Mexico. What should I bring? What should I bring to make sure that I'm prepared?
Well, you're gonna pack. So the simplest thing you can do in your carry-on is pack in a Faraday-proof, bulletproof backpack. I mean, you're
Love
literally
it.
walking around with a shield. This is a bulletproof shield up to 223. All right. So you are, which is a M16, or AR-15 type weapon, which is what most
Scary.
militaries use, NATO round 5.56. But
Okay.
this is bulletproof. So, you pack in a bag. This is the easiest way. I send my kids to school with this. I've
Mm,
actually gifted these to my to teachers. I've gifted them to family members because it's a backpack. It's just a
yeah.
normal backpack, except when you're getting shot at. And then it's a bulletproof shield. And if you're in the middle of a foreign country, in the middle, it's a cartel run country. We just know this, right? And the
Right.
the government is a little bit not organized, and the police are a little bit into shakedowns and things like that. So, I mean,
Yeah.
Mexico, you're going to expect that.
Right.
Secondly, how are you going to call your family if something happens? If you really
Mm,
need to get a hold of someone, if you really need to check a map, and you don't have Wi-Fi, how are you going to do that? You don't have your cellular. And, that just leads into the satellite phone store. Redundancy is everything.
yeah.
Carry a bivy stick. Mine's over there on the desk. I'm not going to go walk and grab it
Can
because I
can
don't
you
want to step away, but
Yeah,
go
explain
ahead.
the bivy stick. So the
Yeah, yeah.
basically, just so everybody understands,
You want me to grab
people
it?
who are
Just
new
give
here,
me
the
2 seconds.
satellite, yeah, go get your bivy stick.
I
The
got it right here.
satellite phone basically works if everything goes down. So 3G, 4G, 5G, all the towers, all the electricity, all the things, and you can't use your cell phone. The satellite phones
Right.
basically work when everything else goes down. So a lot of people have a satellite phone basically as a backup. It's just
Right.
it's a fail safe to anytime that, communications go out, they are able to call their families, let them know where they are and that they're safe. And they can also help people in their communities. Now, and there are a million different packages over at the satellite phone store. They have really affordable packages for people who want to look into getting a satellite phone and
Yeah.
also a package. But the bivy stick is pretty interesting to me, and I think it's a little bit more affordable. Can you talk about the bivy stick and how that works?
Yeah, thanks. So, there are many satellite networks. And I think that's something that people don't quite understand. It's not just a satellite network. There are multiple companies with multiple networks.
Okay.
And, similar to like a Starlink is one company, for example. So Starlink uses, now T-Mobile is using Starlink to hook up. And that's great.
Yeah.
We sell lots of Starlinks. I use Starlink. I love Starlink. I think Starlink's a cool thing. The only downside to Starlink in an emergency scenario is that it needs to be plugged in.
Mm,
It needs a power source.
Right.
and it works off the Starlink network. So if your Starlink satellite booster in Mexico and the power goes out and that booster is no longer getting all the power it needs, the Starlink system is going to go down. Now, I love Starlink. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I use it. We sell lots of them. We have great customer service with Starlink. We're
Yep.
one of the only people that offer customer service because Starlink doesn't really have a good customer service. And, we have great deals on them. So get a Starlink. But the difference between Starlink and say a bivy stick, which is charged it in advance, turn it off. It's the size of a Snickers bar, right?
Okay.
It's no bigger than your phone. The
Okay.
difference is this uses a different satellite network, and it doesn't require a booster to get this up to the Iridium. It uses Iridium network. It doesn't require a booster. This right now, if I turn it on and go outside, if it can see the sky, it's going to connect to that satellite network.
Okay.
And then if I can see my phone with it and I flip my phone to Bluetooth, now my phone is a satellite texting device where I
Wow.
can text you via the Iridium network without any other additional power. As long as this is charged and this is charged, we're going to jump right on the Iridium network. Now that's just like an Iridium phone, which again, my Iridium phone is somewhere.
What's an
over
Iridium
there.
phone?
So the Iridium phone is, again, it's the only difference between say like a bivy stick or the Iridium phone is that the phone would make phone calls.
Okay.
This would operate as text messaging. And if you use our Galileo app, which is satnews123.com, we're an information source where Shannon is on, and you can receive information and alerts and send information and alerts to your family and friends through our app, through satnews123.com.
Okay.
So it's an off-grid emergency app. So anywhere you are, you can see what's happening around you, even if you don't have cellular and Wi-Fi.
That's really cool technology. And the bivy stick is do you need a monthly
Right.
subscription? You don't need a satellite phone. Essentially, it turns in an emergency situation, it would turn your cell phone into a satellite phone, but only for messaging. So, but you could
satellite
communicate
texting
with
device.
people.
Yep.
Yeah, you could communicate with people, let them know you're safe, get to a safe place, all of those things just with the bivy
Right.
stick. And it's a little bit more of an affordable way to do it, correct?
Very affordable,
Yeah.
low monthly plans, rollover credits. I mean, basically nothing. If you buy 2 cups of coffee a month, you've already covered your plan.
Okay. Yeah.
The satellite phone store will give you the stick, will give you this actual thing for free, 100% free.
Wow.
And yeah, like I said, and then you can get not only just texting, like I said, you download our app. We're sending information. We're sending alerts. We have weather alerts. We have fire alerts. We're reporting on Mexico right now. We're working with a company called Disasterware,
Okay.
which works with the government and Coca-Cola to track all of the international travels and shippings of their sodas.
Okay.
They can't afford to lose barges and ships, so they use this technology, and we're using it too. Now they spend millions of dollars a year on it, and we're
Yeah.
offering it to you for like $7. So,
Wow.
these are our solutions at the satellite phone store and at Galileo are intentionally designed to be ridiculously affordable because you shouldn't have to, sell your right arm to be able to back up and support your family. These things should be affordable, and they are very much so. I think the only barrier is that people don't know about them and don't realize how easy they are to use. I think is the other thing. A lot of people think satellite and they think it's real complicated and will it do this and that and whatever. Super easy. Just turn it on. It works.
So traveling to a foreign country, traveling to Mexico, I have my ballistic Faraday backpack. I have
That's right.
my bivy stick, which will turn into a communication device
That's right.
in any type of power outage or wireless phone lines are down. It will turn my phone into a satellite messaging device. That's the bivy stick. What about power? You mentioned, well, I mean, if you can't power things up, are there any type of portable power situations that are
Yeah.
available that you would put in that Faraday bag?
Absolutely. I mean, we have small generators. They're a little bit, for traveling. It depends, how long and how far you're going. But there
Okay.
are, but what we do have is we have our bug out bags that have additional power sources in it. So they have solar chargers and they have battery packs in them. So
Okay.
you could just throw a bag like that in your carry-on and take out the knife and take out, the things,
Or else
all
they'll
the sharp
tackle me.
thing.
They'll tackle me on the
Yeah.
tarmac
Exactly. Or something as similar, like as simple as a little lighter. This is a windproof, waterproof lighter. You can see I'm just turning it off and on here.
Very
But
cool.
like if you're in the middle of nowhere and you're stuck in Mexico and there's no power, maybe you're cold, maybe you're hot, maybe you want to, we have water filters in our backup bags. We have physical maps. So when, like I said, you can use our app with Bluetooth and the satellite network to use a map, but we also have physical maps that just come in each bug out bag. So, generally anything you would need Monday through Friday or Monday through Sunday to take care of you and your family is something that you would consider when you go, on a trip, vacation, or to an event, right? I mean, people pack all the time. I think the problem is we all assume that the water is always going to come out of the faucet, that the
Right.
lights are always going to go on when we flip on the switch, and that's just not the case. Sometimes things break, and we're watching the world break right in front of our eyes. So
It's so true. It's
you
so
got to be
true.
prepared.
So the bulletproof backpack with the bivy stick plus the solar charging stations, the little solar,
Yep, so there.
that sounds great. And that's important because I did see headlines, the cartels, the gangsters
Yeah.
were threatening to cut out the electricity all throughout Mexico. But that was one of the threats there, right? So I mean, regardless of whether or not you're traveling, everyone needs to have some type of short-term power situation in their home so that they can at least run the refrigerator and, a light source in their communication devices. And you have all that at
Absolutely.
the satellite phone store. Obviously, the water filtration, I think, is really important. Anything else before we move on to 6G and protecting ourselves from 6G, EMF, and also surveillance?
Yeah.
Anything else that you think that people should know about that is neat or cool or
I
super
mean, yeah.
necessary?
I mean, everything's super necessary, and being alive and being able to protect your family is neat and cool, especially like in an emergency. And you want to it feels good to pick your kid up and dust them off or teach him how to tie his shoes, right? Now imagine what we're moving into is a place where, your government's not coming to save you. I don't know if you
Right.
noticed, but there's no like US embassy going out to save all the Americans in Mexico. They're just kind of like, hey, you're on your own. Good luck. They might shut off the power. Good luck. So like, no one's coming to save
No
you. And I
one's
think that's
coming.
like,
It's
yeah, no,
true.
America needs to kind of wake up a little bit. The United
Yeah.
States, America in general, is the continents of America, but specifically the United States. Your government is slugging beers. The head of the FBI
Yeah.
is slugging beers at the Olympics. He is not arresting criminals. They are not coming out to save you. And I hate to say that. I believe in this country. I love this country. I did 10 years in the military, just about nine and
Yeah.
change. But like, everything about America, in the United States, I've been proud of my whole life, and now I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed by
Yeah.
our leaders. I'm embarrassed by our government, and it turns out not just embarrassed. I'm almost afraid of what they're going to do next.
Right.
And we just really want to implore to everybody, every family out there, join your community. Maybe you can't afford a generator that can run your house that we sell on your own, but you know what? You have three neighbors. You can all kick in together. You have four neighbors. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
everything's affordable. And it's all worthwhile because you're going to need those people if anything does go down. And I hate to say it, I just feel like something's coming. So,
Yeah. I think something is coming. And what I've learned from observing over the past, 15 years is that
yeah,
it's bad, but it never has been as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like, it's bad, people die, things are terrible,
yeah,
but a country of 365 million people living in communities, all with a desire to stay alive
right.
and live
To
and
eat.
thrive, really
Yeah,
can come up with some amazing
yeah.
solutions to anything that the psycho lunatic feds in Washington, D.C. have planned for us. And
100%.
when you look at the military, I mean, listen, we're gearing up for nuclear war with Iran, and we have naval ships colliding. All right, outside of Iran, we have
The poop deck.
ships sinking because 80% of their toilets are overflowing. They can't even
Yeah.
manage the sewage in our naval warships. Like, that's how incompetent and foolish and corrupt and lazy and horrifying our government
Well,
is.
that's
It's a
the
very
DEI
sad state.
ship. Don't forget
Right.
that's the DEI ship. That was the real
Diversity.
proud, yeah, the real proud
I think it's
DEI
the most
ship.
I think it's the most expensive naval
Oh my
battleship in the
gosh.
entire fleet. It's ridiculous.
Well, I was
All
watching.
right. So,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, so we need to know what these lunatics are capable of. But I do think that it is much harder. They would like us to think that they can just crush us like peons anytime they want. But they can't do it, especially if you're prepared. So let's now move on to like the creation of the mass surveillance state, the technocracy surveillance, 6G. Donald Trump has now launched an initiative to fast track and warp speed 6G. We talk about the shots and their impacts on people's bodies and cancers. I mean, the RF and the EMF frequencies, the damage that we now know that these frequencies are doing to people's bodies, cancer causing, is unbelievable. Not only do we need to protect ourselves from the government surveillance, which Faraday technology can accomplish, but we also need to protect our bodies and the bodies of our children from their attack on our environments. It's insane, Brett. Let's start with this 6G initiative. I'd like to get your thoughts on where this administration is going as they sell out completely to the big tech bros, the big tech companies, and really disregard the health of the population.
Yeah, I mean, 6G has always been touted as the Internet of Bodies. So
really,
yeah, that's what they call it, the Internet of Bodies. So whose body? Your body. My body. Well, not mine, and probably not yours, because we don't take those stabby stabs. But
right.
you can go back to the COVID years when the frequencies and there were the reports of people going to the cemeteries, like in Australia, and they're picking up like all kinds of weird Wi-Fi signals and Bluetooth signals off potentially bodies and whatnot. But I mean, that's what they refer to it. The 6G is called the Internet of Bodies. It's and it's using your biometric, your biodome, as a tower, basically and to me, that's this very mark of the beast, right? Like if you're going to be, and you'll know Harari. Remember when he said, he's like, surveillance needs to go under the skin. And they're like talking about how they're going to stick surveillance under your skin, and the vaccines, they're all doing these kind of things with this graphene oxide. And you're watching, I mean, there's mercury in one vaccine, and then there's aluminum in another. And you could just go on YouTube and look at what happens when you put mercury and aluminum together and just see what happens. Just watch what happens. Now, if they're injecting you with one substance and then they're doing it again with another, and watch the reaction on YouTube. But yeah, the 6G, I mean, Donald Trump, granddaddy Operation Warp Speed, he has not stopped bragging about, and millions of Americans are hurt, dead, hundreds of thousands, potentially millions, depending if you go to like the VAERS report and how much you believe the accuracy of that report, which says it could be as low as 1%. And 1%, it says like, what, 30,000 people have been killed. So what's, times that by 99 more percent, what number you get, right? So, I mean, then, yeah, it's terrible. It's what's happening. It happened to my friends. I know people. I'm watching people get sick all around me. Cancers are just exploding. Normal, healthy, middle-aged people that I know are like all of a sudden like chemo, and I'm like getting them all the crazy conspiracy protocols to try to save them. But I wanted to do this little experiment with you and your audience real quick, if you just indulge me. I bought this EMF meter.
Okay.
And I was doing some research. So according to the World Health Organization, 6 volts per meter and above causes childhood leukemia. And then they need to do more research behind that. So that's 6.
Okay.
Just 0.6. So I'm just going to turn this guy on here. Oh, it's blasting already. I'm already getting blasted. Hang on. Turn this on back here. There we go. So I'm back here. I'm reading at about a 30, bouncing between 20 and 30 right here. Now I'm just going to bring this closer to my computer as I'm talking, and we'll just see what happens. And you tell me what number is blasting out of there on that screen, if you can see it.
50,
we're in the
68,
70s.
70, 81.
Yeah, so
that's crazy.
6 causes childhood leukemia. And my computer, now see, I'm backed up a little bit, so it goes down. I'm back to like around 9, 10 right here. But this is just coming back in. I'm just, now you can see my fingers aren't on any buttons. This is my computer sending a signal off. Now I'm going to show you something real fun here. Now I'm going to put this on here. Sorry if I mess up the thing. Now I'm going to put my escape zone backpack in front of it here. And you can hear that it went off. Oh, take it away. Blast back up.
Right. That's crazy.
Put it in front. Yeah. It goes silent. Take it away.
Yeah.
It spikes again. So, we're getting blasted. Yeah. My point is, I mean, I'm at 70, 80 sitting in front of my computer. How many kids are holding iPads? How many phones are next to your head while you're going to sleep? And when you plug something in this thing goes off the chain. It's in the hundreds when your devices are charging. So look, this is perfect for a phone. You just slide this thing in here. There you
Yep.
go. Now you're safe. Your family's safe. The frequencies everywhere, and we're getting zapped by all this latest and greatest in technology. So
Mm,
thanks for letting me do that little experiment. I just want to show people it's a real thing. You can buy that off Amazon, $40, I think I paid for that thing. Do it at
yeah.
your own home, you
And
know?
that's the EMF. I know absolutely. And
Yep.
I've had a lot of experts in Theodora.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on her last name, but she was in the week before last. She's brilliant. I mean, I'm gonna have her
Yeah.
on my show. Just I mean, she comes with receipts. I mean, she has
Yep.
some of the best peer-reviewed research out there when it comes to established science, when it comes to EMF, these RF, the frequencies, 5G, 6G, how it interacts with our environment.
Yeah.
And the idea behind Faraday, understandably, we have phones, we need to use phones, we have technologies, we need to use technologies. But
Right.
for example, at night, a lot of people will plug in their phone and they'll put it right next to their bed. Or they will plug in their phone and put in their Bluetooth and listen to something as they fall asleep or anything like that. And that's incredibly dangerous. If you simply put your phone in a Faraday bag or moved it outside of the room, some of them actually move their phones outside of the room when they sleep at night. That lessens the exposure of your body to EMF exponentially. I mean, you are now taking a huge portion of your day and allowing your body to detox from the EMF. And
Yep.
even just a change in that respect, even if you're on your phone all day because it's part of I mean, poor me, I'm like in front of screens all day. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Back
I have
up,
my Faraday
Shannon.
cap.
Back up.
I
Back
know.
up.
I need some more
Yeah.
Faraday. I've given all my Faraday hats away. Tina
Or
has
like
to
we'll
send
we'll
me.
make you a poncho out of this blanket here. But you were talking about sleep, and I mentioned it too. But look, so say maybe you want to have frequency. This is a smaller blanket, but this is
Yep.
an EMF blanket. We also have larger ones. This is just good. You can throw it on your lap if you're using your computer on your lap. Think about what's like all the different places, right? Like all the
Right.
different times. And like you said, if you're going to sleep, let's say 8 hours, 7 hours, say I sleep about 6 hours a night, but that's 6 hours a night that I could be getting jammed just a signal zapping me while my phone's charging, right?
Right.
But
Right. Right.
instead, I just slide it in. Or, I mean, how do people carry their laptops and their iPads when they travel on vacation? How did those guys get their laptops down to Mexico? Well, they had to put them in a backpack. So
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
thing's zapping you right on your spine all day long. Every time you're carrying it, you're getting zapped. There you go, Faraday. You just slide it in the Faraday holster. So now it's not just bulletproof, but it's Faraday.
Yeah.
So, in here, you could just hide. We have multiple Faraday packets. The whole bag's Faraday, multiple pockets in here, computer pockets, but
Yep.
that's bulletproof too. So again, I'm not trying to hack or hawk all the gear here, but
No.
these are simple solutions, and they're for everybody.
Yeah. Listen, we need to change our mindset about these things. I think it's eminent. I've seen enough. I've had enough experts on the show. I've been doing this long enough. I don't know exactly what is going on, like exactly what the combination is of environmental plus injections, plus, what is happening around us, but clearly something is very wrong. Like I go by what I see with my own eyes, what I hear with my own ears, and I know that the number of people that I know personally who have very horrifying, rapid onset turbo cancers
Yeah,
has increased in an extraordinary way
so
just since
sad.
2021. It's incredibly sad. So there will be a moment in the future when we're gonna have a better understanding of what 5G and 6G and the injections and the creation. I mean, the Manhattan-sized data centers. What are they going to do to people and their health and their communities? All of this, it's happening very
Right.
fast. Trump is warp speeding it with his tech bros, and MAGA Republicans are cheering for it because they're in a cult. And so we just need to save ourselves. So I don't mind that that satellite phone store is doing a service to people. I mean, they have a huge
Thank you.
amount of products, guys.
We
And
do, yeah.
again, sat123.com/joy is my independent URL, and it's 10% off everything you purchase when you use my promo code, which is JOY. So yeah, there's a lot of work to be done here, and we're going to continue to do that work. Brett Miller, really appreciate you
Yes, ma'am.
being
Thank you.
with me today on the SJ show. I got a lot of ideas about travel and getting things ready so that anywhere I go in the world, I'm protected and prepared and ready to go. So I appreciate your help there. Any last thoughts before we end the show? Because we have about a minute.
Fear not. Fear not. That's the Bible says it 365 times. God wanted you to hear it. You must prepare. And I always say this. I probably said it before here, so I apologize if I'm repeating myself. But Noah built his ark in the sunshine. He did not build it in the rain. So if we are in the golden era, I advise everybody listening, you're already one step in the right direction by listening to Shannon. So now go and take step 2 and get yourself ready. But don't fear. God has your back, and we're all here for you. Call us anytime. And thank you, Shannon, for all you do. God bless you and your handsome husband. And
devastatingly handsome Dr. Joy.
Devastatingly handsome.
Yep. Well, and to your point, before we sign off, Satellite Phone Store does have the best customer service of any company I have ever worked with or ever been a customer of. When you call the 800 number, a human answers.
I know, it's hard to believe.
Blew my mind when I first, because I needed help with my satellite phone store. And they're like, hello, welcome to satellite. I'm like, what? There's no AI. There's no press this button, that button. So make sure if you call them, let them know that I sent you. They're so nice. The people at Satellite Phone Store are so nice. They're so helpful. They're so friendly. They'll take great care of you. You have a great day, Brett. Appreciate you as always. We'll have you on again.
God bless. Thanks, Shannon.
All right. You too. And thank you guys for being with us today here on the Shannon Joy Show. Thank you to our sponsors. Could not bring the show to you every day without the Satellite Phone Store, without the folks over at Schiff Gold and Peter Schiff. Of course, Don Polano of PCM and Associates is my financial advisor and the very first ever Shannon Joy advertiser. And he is opening up his financial practice to everyone in the country. So you can go to pcmpolano.com. That's pcmpolano.com. And again, Dom is, he's just an amazing person. I trust him implicitly. If you want a financial advisor that shares your values and supports the Shannon Joy Show, you're going to want to check out Dom Polano. Of course, welcome to the Wellness Company. We are so glad that they support our show, and the Mary Talley Bowden Show, On Call with Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, is up now, and we are going to start running that. An amazing presentation from our good friend, Dr. Mary Talley Bowden. So we are going to get started with her in just a moment. Thank you to the Wellness Company for their sponsorship of her show. You guys have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all again right here on the SJ Show.